Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Stellaris Overlord Episode 9. So in terms of advancing, what you want to do, there's different win conditions in the game, and you can enable the win conditions at the start of the game, but ultimately, the way to advance is to work towards victory, right? So, you set a victory date. Mine happens to be January 1st, 2800, and you try to become the most powerful of the Empire, or to fully conquer it, or whatever other victory conditions that you have want to get. Meet.
Situation log updated.
Okay, they have an L gate. That's good to know. If the Holy Storm Rider and Overlord breaks apart, I'm definitely gunning for Light and L gate. Absolutely. L gates are going to be really powerful. You tend to get stuck, and you find it difficult to expand, and your pops get angry no matter what you do. So if your pops are angry, what you probably need is more amenities. You get amenities through things like holo theaters, and entertain them. Or you can keep your pops happy by going to this button, Species, and then going to your species and setting rights. So my pops have academic privilege. You, by default, start off with decent conditions, but you could do something like Utopian Abundance, which makes them a lot happier as well. Another thing that affects happiness is low habitability. If a planet isn't very habitable, the people that live on there will dislike living there. So that's another thing you can do, is to increase habitability. And then in terms of being stuck, just conquer people, dude. Squish them. Squish them. That's how you expand. In truth, yes. Through war. Or vassalization. Both work. Or federations and alliances. It really depends on how you want to play. There's a lot. I mean, that's one of the wonderful things of Stellaris, is there's so many different ways to, well, the saying is skin a cat, but there's so many different ways to play. You can play through violence, through dominance, through alliances, through science, through, and given all the options, it has a lot of replayability.
Construction online.
My fleet still doesn't look like it's superior to theirs, but let me build up my spy network a little bit more. I'm going to run a gathering intelligence, because right now I'm at my infiltration maximum with the eradicators that I border, and I want a little bit more infiltration. So I'm going to do a gather intelligence, which uses a little influence to level up the amount of intel that I have on the eradicators.
Receiving transmission.
Embassy with... Yeah, who are you? Bavir. Okay, so here's another potential ally. The Bavir hierarchy and the Kelzin Enlightened Kingdom both share my ideologies and will be good potential allies. They're a lot stronger too. And they have a diplomatic stance. So it's quite possible that they could become Federation allies or something like that. Oh, here's a star system that was never annexed, so I'll survey it. That's odd. It's very odd. Normally when this happens, there's something really dangerous there, like a Leviathan, like this Ether Drake. But in this case, there was nothing there. They just never bothered. Which means that my constructor could actually grab it from them. I will have to pay 1, 2, 3, 4 times the cost to grab it, but given that I have a ton of influence and I'm not really using it, might as well. And that puts me closer to Light's End too, which might be nice. I could grab this, Ruinem and Light's End to have contiguous borders, or grab everything in between, and fully conquer the Prosnaken once the vassalage disintegrates. What's my favorite crisis? I don't actually have a favorite. I like them all. They're all fun. I like the variety more than one specifically.
System surveyed.
It's not a terrible system, too. Well, it's gonna be mine. Sorry, Presnakin. Too slow. It's odd that I was even allowed to grab it. Oh, speaking of which, now I can vote on the things in the Senate. So I should start picking for myself because I now have independent voting from my overlord. Ban organic slave trade support. Because we are fanatic egalitarian, it doesn't really make sense to support slavery. Alright, let's go ahead and sell off some minerals. Buying alloys to expand my anchorages as soon as I have the resources for that. So I can support more ships. Espionage operation is pending. Mission is accomplished. We have gained a higher maximum of intel. So now we can go up to 55. I'm going to run in and acquire asset so that we can have a sleeper agent in their government. Yeah, there's a lot of UI elements, so it's going to be really hard to watch on mobile devices. I try my best to explain what I'm doing so that if you don't have a giant screen, you can still sort of know what's going on. But it's going to be challenging, no matter what. So as soon as each Savanti and Pterodonus get their first robot, I'm going to change the robot assembly plant to something else. Whoa! Whoa!
Transmission.
They just broke up. Oh boy. Alright, so first things first. War was declared on the Kelzen, who were already pathetic, so they're probably going to get wiped out. The Holy Stormridian Empire can now use the cause for war against it of subjugation and a broken empire. With no leader to hold them together, the Holy Stormridian Empire has dissolved into several parts, with each claiming their right to rule over the old empire. Without the strength or legitimacy of old, however, their hold over all their vassals has crumbled to nothing. With the disparate parts of the old empire fighting over the throne of the Holy Stormridian Empire, their old subjects are trying to find their way in their now independent future. We are free once more. So, I can have one of two choices. And I'm going to have you vote on this. I can say free once more, and that really doesn't do anything. There's no consequence. Or I can say it's time for a new leader to take charge. It costs me 100 influence. I gain a subjugation cause for war against the Holy Stormridian Empire and all of its old vassals for 30 years. Should I vie for the throne and become the Overlord, or should I just become an independent nation? Choice is yours, and I'll give you actually just 1 minute to vote on that. I think in terms of roleplay, it makes more sense to try to go for the throne, because we purposefully formed no relationships with any of the old vassals. Any of them. So we can become Overlord ourselves. If you want. Leave it up to you. It also means that my economy is no longer to be subsidized by my Overlord. So the lovely amount of wealth that I was very briefly raking in due to the alteration of my contract will obviously stop. I'm also no longer a Scholarium. So I'm going to update the title. So as I am no longer a Scholarium, my naval capacity is shot up immensely, and it looks like the choice is we are going to get a cause for war of subjugation. So as I'm not a Scholarium, my leaders still keep, which is interesting, still keep their old Scholarium traits. But if we take a look here at hiring new ones, they will not have that bonus. In fact, I'm going to hire that Spark of Genius, because Spark of Genius. Yeah, I'll hire him for later. So they're not going to keep their traits, or rather, anyone I recruit further won't have those Scholarium traits. I won't get the resource caches, but I'm also not forking over 40% of my, or 30% of my science over to my Overlord, which is kind of nice. I get to keep it. So now we have a cause for war against the Prince Electorate to the north, against the Holy Storm Radians. So the Holy Storm Radians are still probably pretty powerful, just because they've dissipated their Overlord ship or whatever. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be easy to conquer. But then also Kingdom of the Alari and the Incorporated Storm Riders, the Holy Storm Rider Empire, which is just this little guy in the middle, and they're evangelizing zealots now, and then the Skull Lords and so on and so forth. So they broke up into a bunch of splinter factions, and that also means that the Prosnakin here are free game. They're not a vassal of my Overlord anymore, so we could gun for them. Vo Relican as Zanya, or Zany Zaratan. Thank you for the resubs. So who should I declare war on? Who should I declare war upon? So there's a few different choices here. We can declare war on Prosnakin, for these guys. I might spell these things wrong. We could go against the Eradicator still. Or we declare war on the Prince Electorate to our north. Give me 2.5 minutes to vote on that. So the war that we declare on the Prince Electorate would be a subjugation war, to force them to become a subject of our empire. For the Eradicators, it would be a war of containment, meaning that we would just, any territory that we conquered, we would keep. And then a war against the Prosnakin would likely be conquering or claim war, to try to gain Light's End, which is an Elgate system, Runam, Olars, and Delta Pavanis. So it is up to you. And there's the timer. And at the end of the timer, I will rally for war. Alright, Storm Rider Incorporated joined the Galactic Community, and Storm Rider Coalition joined the Galactic Community. Another thing is, oh, boom, there it is. I jumped up tremendously in the Galactic Community in terms of my diplomatic weight. I went from like 200 something to 500 something. If you take a look here, the Holy Storm Rider Empire is still at the top, but, well, we can gun for them.
Receiving transmission.
Non-aggressive pact with the Prince Electorate? No. And non-aggressive pact with the Hantak Galactic Hierarchy? Yes. I will take that.
Receiving transmission.
I will take this one as well. Non-aggressive pact with the Mondasura Stellar League. So the reason why all these pacts are coming in is now that I'm an independent empire, I can form my own political relationships with other factions. Oh. Well, screw you, Granshu. God. Granshu just declared me a rival of them. I was actually trying to improve my relation with them, and then they flipped me the bird, so that's rude.
New technology discovered.
I got hyperdrives. Yes. Hyperdrives are going to be really powerful. So let's go with sensors next. And it looks like you guys want me to prepare for war against the Prince Electorate. I probably can go to war with them immediately. I can't imagine that they have a particularly strong navy. So I'm going to refit my navy and then max it out as fast as I can and then go to war with them. Technocratic protection. The people of the Kingdom of Alari care little for anything else outside their own borders, but they are aware that whatever is out there might ruin their single-minded internal focus. Therefore, they have turned to us for protection of the same kind the Holy Stormrider Empire once gave them. They're asking to become a Scholarium under us. So I can, and I'll let you vote on this. They will be a boon to our empire. The Kingdom of Alari becomes a subject under the Democratic Yoda Commonwealth, and I gain engineering research immediately. And they become a Scholarium under us, or I tell them no, and I upset them. So we're already becoming an overlord. They, I think, are volunteering, which is pretty ridiculous. But, I mean, they're not wrong. We are actually pretty powerful naval power. Like, they're inferior to us, right? We have a pretty significant naval power compared to all the other ex-vassals of the Holy Stormrider, and despite the fact that we weren't a bulwark, which is the military vassal, we were a Scholarium. But despite the fact that we were focused on research, I really put a lot of effort into our fleets, and yeah, alright. It will be a boon to our empire. Let me hide that poll. Everybody wanted it. So here is their territory. I have no idea why they haven't expanded beyond their current bubble. That confuses me a little bit. But I'm not going to be able to actually... So there's a bit of a problem here. There happens to be a marauder between me and them. So I can't directly get there. Because of the crazy hyperlane path here. Holy moly, this hyperlane path is bad. So if I wanted to get there... I would have to go, like, this. Like, alright, let's say I'm leaving my capital. I'd have to go, like, this. Or I could try to cut through them, but even then, I have to cut through here. So if I didn't want to go through the Marauders at all, I'd be going from here, around the entire galactic core, and out. Oh, man, those freebooters are the bottlest of bottlenecks. I cannot believe it. That is unbelievably lucky for them, I suppose. What are my envoys doing? All right. Galdrig, do not improve relations with Garanshu. Instead, represent us... No, actually, instead, harm relations with the Garanshu. No, I don't need... Well, okay. Yeah, I don't really care. Alright, represent us in the galactic community instead. Yep. Big moves. Alright, let me clear this queue, because there's a lot of stuff up here. So the Holy Stormrider Empire are currently at war, a civil war, with the Stormriding Coalition, which is... I don't even know who this Stormriding Coalition is. But they're also at war with the Skull Lords, and at war with the Stormrider Incorporated. I actually physically don't even see the Coalition. Where are you guys? Oh, they're just one little star down here. So, they may have been powerful, but they're in a three-front war. And if the people that are warring with them have any sort of naval capacity whatsoever, they should be brought down a peg or two.
Construction online.
Oh, and I just snaked Run to Mario. And that is becoming the Nabla operator. Congrats, Nabla. First poll of the stream. Evolvo Crab.
Fleets enhanced.
Thank you for the resub. Oh, Jesus. And then the Prosnakin just closed their borders to me. You know what? Screw you too. And my researcher that was at Axamon just got kicked out. So Holy Roman Empire just declared war. Oh, they guaranteed the independence of the Hantak Galactic Hierarchy, which is actually a potential ally of mine. So that's a little weird.
New technology discovered.
Cruisers are done. So I'm going to be raffling off the who holds the title of the cruiser in just a minute. So if you want to be cruiser, just make sure you're active in the chat. I'm going to grab super solid materials for more science research from science researchers. All right, taking a look at the ship designer. We have already incorporated jump drives tier 2 in some but not all of the ships. So I'm going to get rid of the afterburners for Lore the Noob so that we free up a little bit of power for the hyperdrives. So let's refit that. And that will allow us to jump from system to system faster. And we're refitting all those Corvettes now. All right, cruiser. The Happy Pants. Nothing like a Happy Pants cruiser, right? Congrats, Happy Pants. So let's design the Happy Pants cruiser. I am going to want it to be an artillery ship. So that means large guns hitting from a distance with one laser as a broadside stern, and then armor, shields, and double sets of afterburners. There, done, designed. I like it. All right, to have the fleet that I wanted for this battle, need just a little bit more for the last destroyer that I want to make.
Fleets enhanced.
Incoming transmission.
A commercial proposal from... Yes, I will accept that. Grey Hermit, thank you for the resub. And then... Oh, this scientist needs a name. Glitch. And this scientist is going to assist research at Tyrannus Prime, even though Tyrannus Prime doesn't even make science right now, but I don't have anything better for him to do at the moment. Alright, I am impoverishing myself to buy as many alloys as I can to try to get my fleet at full strength. And then I'm going for the Prince Electorate. A research proposal. Not from you, no. I do want a research proposal with the Kingdom of Alari, though. So, here's our agreement with the Kingdom of Alari. They're a vassal. Oh, you know what? I don't want them to be a vassal. I want them to be a Scholarium. But I'm going to need more influence to be able to do that. And they're going to need to like me more. But one of the things I do have is a holding. So if I go down to their planet... Oh no, do I not have holding with them yet? Yeah, the current holding limit is 1. Why can't I build a holding on their planet? Oh, here it is. Let me... Oh, I don't have any money, but I would like to build a holding there to be able to build up their allegiance to me. And we also just got the Living State, which gives me black sites to be able to convert our empires faster over to our ruling ideology. I'm going to get effective bureaucracy for a higher edicts fund so that I can afford to roll with research subsidies. Right now, our current edicts are encourage political thought and map the stars. I don't even really need that map the stars, but I'm going to have it anyway. But if we take a look at the factions, they still there. They still exist. So I have more work to be done there. Partially, it's just I need to assemble the robots in each planet, and we haven't gotten there yet. A Chim escape pod. A Chim escape pod drifted into our space recently after a particularly violent crash between two warring clans of the Chim Raiders. They're the people down here. Border Patrol units intercepted the pod and opened it, revealing a grateful Chim flag officer. The Admiral has pledged to serve us until death at no cost. We can either welcome aboard and we get a seasoned Admiral, or we can say, no thanks. We would have to pay the upkeep unity cost of the Admiral, but we don't have to pay the upfront purchase, I think. But I'll have you vote on that while I look at the traditions. So I'm going to be able to pick a new tradition soon. And I will have you vote on what tradition it is and also sort of explain the choices a little bit. Alright, so it looks like we're welcoming aboard. So let's take a look at him. He is a mercenary warrior to gain evasion and ship fire rate. And Spraxis, so that you don't feel sad about becoming a Chim, I'm going to give you the new dude. Alright, tradition. New tradition. So here's the choices. Because it seems like we want to become an Overlord, Domination, or Supremacy would be obvious choices. So I'll explain these. Domination allows you to gain access to the Hegemony Federation type, where you become the hegemonic overlord of others. It levels up your governor, and you gain influence. Capital buildings gain housing. You gain enforcers to crack down on unruly planets. Workers could have extended shifts to increase output, but they become sad, and your edicts fund goes up. Domination is to impose the will onto others. It's not, yeah. And then you can adopt all the other domination traditions to gain empire size from pops are decreased, and once it's fully done, you gain the Hegemony Federation type. Supremacy is sort of ship strength or naval strength. So that's another one. Others we could do would be adaptability, harmony, mercantile. So adaptability is our ability to feed our planet, house people, and adapt to the environments. Harmony is that us as citizens are harmonious. So like we live longer, higher edicts fund, governing ethics extraction gone up, that kind of thing. Mercantile is for trade and trade value and trade protection. And then unyielding would be for defensive strength. Star bases get stronger, defensive armies get stronger. You gain a huge advantage when you're defending in your own ship, in your own territory, so on and so forth. So you go. Timer's up, and you can pick. So we are almost done building these last two off-grade destroyers. And then once they're built, we will roll into the Prince Electorate territory before we lose that opportunity. Wow, they are belligerent, the Kingdom of Lari. I'm going to try to improve my relation with them once the spying on the Eradicators is done. The acquire the asset mission that we have running. A defensive pact between Prosnakin and the Garanshu. That's not good for me. The Garanshu are my rivals, and the Prosnakin are my neighbors that I wanted to subjugate. So that's gonna, yeah, that's a problem. Not a terrible problem, but it does mean that I can't pick on them as easily, which is fine. Just slowing down my bullying, I suppose. But a defensive pact means if I declare war on one, I declare war on both. And then to win the war, I have to defeat both. So it makes conquering or subjugating one kind of twice as hard. Espionage operation pending. Our deep cover operatives have stepped up their surveillance. Okay. Alright, if you haven't voted yet, you only have about a half a minute. So finish that poll there. Looks like Supremacy is going to win unless you guys overthrow that choice. I also have Deep Space Black Sites. So at the Yoda shipyard, let's build the Deep Space Black Site. At the Sylvanti Anchorage, build a Deep Space Black Site. And then at Terodinus, build a Deep Space Black Site. So what these do is they generate unity, and then they drive our citizens to believe in our governing ethics. And Supremacy it is. So, gaining Supremacy immediately, I gain additional naval capacity, so I'm going to go up to 104, which is pretty nice, and my armies do more damage. Finishing it unlocks the War Doctrines policies, and then a lot of the other traditions in here are naval combat oriented. So boom, 104 naval capacity, not bad. I'm nowhere even close to using that all. I'm going to start to move my fleet towards the border of the Prince Electorate. And then I am going to purchase as much... I'm even going to sell alloys, which is crazy. I'm going to purchase as many minerals as I can because I am going to start recruiting an army. Because they have planets that must be invaded. Feels good to be an overlord. Damn, it feels good to be an overlord. Okay, the robots are done in 1 month. And natural sanctuaries, heck no. That ruins diplomatic weight from economy, which I don't want.
Receiving transmission.
Uh-oh. Joint died. But I was actually prepared for that, so... Glitch. You're gonna fill his role. He died of old age. And then I have an empty science ship just sort of hanging out there. I don't pay a lot of upkeep on this ship, just 1 energy credit, so I'm gonna leave it. Saves me 100 alloys from making a new one. So here we go. Declaring war. We are going to make them a... Well, I'll have you vote. What sort of subject should they become? Tributary, and I'll explain these, or a vassal. So a tributary pays us tribute. They pay us energy credits and the like each month as a requirement. A vassal doesn't. The other thing to consider is I can, if they do become vassals or tributes, I can alter the negotiation for them to become specialized. If I think that I want a specialized vassal. So I would like to specialize them depending on their ethos. So the Prince Electorate here is a martial dictatorship, a fanatic militarist. So there's 3 types of specialized vassals, or specialized, specialized subjects or whatever. There is Bulwark, which is military. There is Scholarium, which is what I was, which is for science, technology, research. And then there's Prospectorium, which is for mining and exploiting resources. So these guys would be really good Bulwark. I can have them become a tribute for now, and then transition them to bulwark in the future. Or I can go straight to vassal, which is more on equal terms where they don't pay me tribute, and then turn them into a bulwark when I can afford it through influence and all that jazz. Speaking of which, I am going to sell off even more resources so I can build a holding. So at Tatanga here... Oops. I am going to build a holding. So I can build an emporium at Tatanga, my current vassal, for trader jobs or aid agency. Aid agency would make them loyal to me, so I'm going to do an aid agency to try to have them be a more loyal vassal, because right now they're very disloyal. And I am going to improve my relation with them too. Now, if I want the Prince Electorate to become loyal, probably making them a vassal is better than a tribute. Tributes will pay me, and they'll be, salty about having to pay me taxes. Whereas a vassal is on more equal grounds and can become a loyal bulwark more easily. So one makes me money, but is harder to have them specialize, and the other allows me to specialize a little bit more easily. Looks like we are going to vassalize them. So, I am going to propose subjugation here. So there's a few different things I could do. I can declare war on them to make them a subject, a vassal subject, or I could just propose it. Maybe I don't even have to fight them. So if I propose that, it would only be for a protectorate? Yeah. I'm going to make them a protectorate, actually. What's funny is I can make them a protectorate that pays me 15% of their contribution. So the way this works is sort of this, that you have a certain loyalty and then a monthly change of loyalty. So unless you want your vassals to try to overthrow you, it is useful to try to keep them loyal. And these subjugation proposals sort of set up the loyalty and loyalty gain. So if I say, integration is permitted, they're very upset by that. Or if I say that they have limited diplomacy, or restricted voting, or any other things, these all change the initial loyalty impact and then the monthly loyalty impact. So if I say, hey, I'm going to incorporate you, but your expansion is regulated, that would upset them a little bit. I can allow expansion permitted because there's not really space for them to expand anyway. So here, the subject will join in the Overlord in their defensive wars, or I can say offensive wars. If I say offensive wars, they don't like that. And then what I could do is I could then pay them... Oh, whoops, wrong direction. I could pay them 15% of their energy credits, minerals, and food in order for them to be more loyal as a result. So there's a lot of different ways to sort of move the needle here. Another thing I could say is, no matter what happens to you, if you get attacked, I'll defend you, and if I get attacked, you'll defend me. And that would be probably a good setting. I'm also going to say holdings 1, so I can build holdings there. And then unified sensors wouldn't be terrible. The subject receives sensor data from the Overlord, so that they can see what I can see, which is fine. I'm fine with that. And then here is the predictance. Because of the relative power, I have a lot of sway over what they'll accept. So I could force them into some sort of hugely punitive hugely punitive pact here, where they have to like pay me a lot of taxes, and they have no diplomacy whatsoever, or something like that, and they'll still accept it because they're puny. But I am going to reset that, and I'm going to treat them more fairly. So they come to my defense if I'm declared war on. I get a holding, and they get universal censors. I like that. And they'll probably accept. And they become a subject of mine without a war. And that allows my fleet to then do other things. There we go. They're a subject. So they do have a cause for war against us, a subject cause for war for them to break free if they're disloyal. But if we take a look here, they're currently disloyal, but hopefully we'll be able to build up loyalty by building holdings and the like into their territory. And then every 10 years you can renegotiate the contract as well. So I annex them without even a fight. So green is me, and yellow is my subjects. I think it wouldn't be a terrible idea to negotiate the agreement with the Alari to become a Scholarium when I have the influence for it. But actually, what are the Alari? Yeah, they should be a Scholarium because they're a phonetic materialist. Yeah, that would be correct. Alright, so as soon as I get 400 more minerals, I'm going to build a holding at Bethia to try to make them more loyal. So, question. I have some choices here. I can go to war with someone else now. I could go to war with the Eradicators. Who to go to war with next? I could go to war with the Eradicators, which wouldn't even cost me influence. I could go to war with the Prosnakin down here, but if I go to war with them, the Garanshu join them. The Garanshu is inferior to me, and the Prosnakin are inferior to me, but it would be 2 versus 1. It's an aggressive war, which means that the Prince Electorate would not come to my aid because I'm the one declaring war, not the inverse. I could also try to go to war with, let's see. I could go to war with the Storm Rider Skull Lords. So the Storm Rider Skull Lords are fanatical purifiers, and they are trying to... I should close my border with them. They are trying to murder the Holy Storm Riding Empire right now, so it might not be a good idea to go to war with them, but I could. The Holy Storm Riding and hold on. I could also go to war with whoever these guys are. The Incorporated. The Storm Rider Incorporated. Which is a splinter faction of the old Storm Rider Holy Empire. And then I could also go to war with the Storm Rider Coalition. Which is yet another splinter faction down here. It's also possible that I would be able to subjugate them as well. Once they're at peace, but they're currently not at peace. Okay, there's your options. And you got 2.5 minutes to vote on that. While I tell my fleet to go chill at Yoda Prime again. Right, I bought some minerals, and I'm going to go over to Bithia, go to the holdings, and build another aid agency. So these aid agencies, once they're built, will increase loyalty, which should help in controlling the subjects. So if I take a look at... You guys are disloyal, but it's improving. And then as soon as this envoy is done building a spy network and running the operation, I will try to improve my relation with the Prince Electorate as well.
Construction online.
This construction ship literally has nothing to do, so just go into orbit, I guess. Drain on resources. The Spymaster, in trying to acquire an operative... Well, I'll read it. The Spymaster, Soldrim Den Subir, recently launched a quiet investigation into her own operatives in the Eradicators after noticing a recent drop in their performance. She has discovered these operators skimming from resources allocated to the intelligence gathering and bribes. These goods and currencies are being reinvested elsewhere in the Eradicator business concerns, earning the operators a comfortable profit at our expense. As a result, their attention and loyalties have clearly become divided. Progress on the operation of acquiring an asset has been put on hold for the moment until the Spymaster can reassess operational efficiency. So I can say, this cannot be tolerated, issue reprimands, or dispose of those operators. Choice. 1 or 2. I'm just going to give you 1 minute to vote on this. So, reprimand those that are reinvesting bribes into the economy, or dispose of them. Get rid of them. My infiltration level of the Eradicators drops, but my information level right now is 49 infiltration, so it would drop to 39, which is still pretty good. And it doesn't really matter because it looks like I'm about to go to war with them. So let me update my goal. Eradicate the Eradicators. So these Eradicators, I have some governmental intel on them about their authority, ethics, etc. I don't have a ton of intel about their military. Enough to sort of gauge roughly their fleet power, but not much more. Okay. Operatives discharged. I'm going to move my fleet to Spicy Jazz to prepare for war against the Eradicators. Another thing that's going to happen is when I conquer these planets are going to fall under my control. And that's a continental planet. And this is a tomb world? Oh lord, I do not want a tomb world. What the hell, Eradicators? Did you nuke your own planet like psychopaths? The answer is yes. Definitely yes. My fleet is moving into position for that battle, and then my armies should do the same. So I'm going to merge my armies together, and I'm about to get... so for you subscribers, I'm about to hire a general, so if you want that general named after you, do so now. Just all that you have to do is type in chat.
Construction online.
Okay, construction online would be... I just made the Deep Space Black Sites, which means the governing ethics attraction has gone up, which means, as you can see here, due to the current attraction value, we expect spiritualists to move from 11% to 1%. That also probably indicates that the robots have gotten made. Yes, they have. So let's replace this robot assembly plant with... I'm just going to destroy it, actually, because I don't have the energy or the minerals to do anything else. And then at Torodanus, same deal. Bombing it. At Torodanus, I'm going to open up another mining district. And at Sylvanti Prime, I am going to open up another ag district. Because we have a little bit of unemployment and I want to resolve that. Done.
New technology discovered.
We have new sensor tech. Okay, I'm actually going to turn my fleet around. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. So speculative hyperlane breaching allows my researchers to jump. That's what I was waiting on. So absolutely, I'm going to choose that. You are going to turn back and refit with the better sensors. So getting the speculative hyperlane breaching will allow my researchers to jump from like Chrome Jr. over to Docile and to be able to fulfill the... Well, okay, I'll be able to do pulsating stars, which is this situation log thing. I will not really be able to do the former Baal colony investigation because the issue is, in order to do an archaeology site, you need to annex the territory, and there doesn't seem to be any way for my construction ships to get here. But at least I can send my science ships here. So it's like, you know, helpful, but not ideal, I guess. The Prosnakan just declared me rivals. Yeah, I cannot wait to wipe the floor with your thorny, horny faces. I already have 3 rivals, so I don't really need to rival them back, because 3 is the max for me. Thank you for tuning in to Stellaris Overlord, which originally streamed live on Twitch May 31st. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams, and my channel banner on YouTube and Twitch has my schedule as well. If you'd like to join my gaming community, Rhadamant.com has a link to Discord, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel. I'll catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Stay safe out there, Space Cowboys.